Last week, a 20-something came to meet me at the office. She was working with a public relations firm. And as she was leaving, she said, "Can you do me a B-roll?" And I said, "Okay, do you want a kati or a shawarma?" When an online video came to be known as something you'd associate with lunch, I do not know. But this moment really made me think how quickly generations change. And to give you a sense of that change, here are the top 5 things that Gen Z, or those between 20 to 27 years of age, expect from a workplace today. Flexible work, less money, but more support for mental health, no dress code, menstrual leaves, and effective harassment policies. This is from an RPG group survey of 4,000 Gen Zers in 13 cities done last year. A little bit more entertaining version of this is available on a Reddit forum made up of 8,000 Indian interns, where the top 5 things wanted are subsidized subscription to networking apps, a health food bar, a selfie booth, the right to use abbreviations in communication, and environmentally friendly offices. And the reason I'm sharing this with you today is that the young have a certain set of expectations from a work and from a workplace. And they do want a job in this very tough job market, but very often when they get the job, they feel they're not cut out for it. And those who feel they are cut out for it can't make sense of the job market. Unemployment is one of the biggest concerns for Gen Z professionals in India, more than that of the global average, according to the Deloitte India Gen Z survey, which was done this year. So you need skills to get a job, but you also need skills to learn from and really enjoy that role you work so hard to get. And hopefully today we're going to discover what these skills are. So I'm going to start with Professor Kaur. SRCC has always had a great placement record, and this year you had higher offers than the last. Could you tell us the kind of feedback that companies are giving you on what they're looking for in new hires, and how do you inculcate those skills in a college setting?
I think it's thank you so much. Very relevant and pertinent question. Often we have been taken forward as an institution to provide employability, but of late even entrepreneurial activities are being given a great push. But your question largely pertains to people who are looking for a job. It's very important first to understand the requirements of the industry and also the aspirations of our students, and then try to match them. Over the years, what we've seen is that students were always smart, but the rate at which they are becoming smarter has gone up, and largely because of the information that has been thrown open to them. But because of this, we have also noticed that they practically know what they want to do in terms of the professional career, but not necessarily whether their heart is what is aligned with the job. So we ask them, okay, if you want to do an MBA, is it because you're taking an HR role, but you might be cut out for a marketing role? And then for this, we have career counseling. We have psychological counseling as well, because students I've seen over the time, in the spirit of their aspirations going up and their expectations from the job going up, have somewhere fallen short in terms of the time gap that they want to give to reach that particular ultimate objective, and also sometimes prioritizing your own self over the society. So having a holistic development, a balanced development is what is required. For this, our stakeholders foremost would be the industry, our students, our parents, our peer groups, our alumni, the industry talks that we have, and also the kind of case studies which are taking place within the classrooms through experiential learning, which is teaching the students of what actually is meant to be good for the nation and not necessarily only the self.
Professor Srivastava, we were discussing this before, but students are really keen to try out newer professions. So they might not necessarily want the comfort of a 9-to-5 job with PF and health insurance. They'd like to go out and meet tribals or work with environment. So how do colleges change their curriculums or courses to meet this shift in career choices?
Thank you, Sonali, for the question. Very rightly said, we are seeing change in trends in the last 4 or 5 years, especially after COVID. We are ourselves witnessing the change in their career-mindedness. It is getting very enhanced, and they are very keen to do things which are more for their own selves rather than working for others. And the time that they want to spend should be the time for their own selves. And that's how the startup culture is very strong amongst the students. Also because they feel more comfortable with their peer, their associates in the colleges or in their nearby colleges. And that's how they form a cohort, and they are thinking already, and especially with technology in their hand and such a lot of information. So that, of course, is one thing. And to enable this kind of a thought process and to support them with this, we have to devise methods. We believe in giving them additional value to what they are doing in their regular courses. So the culture of internships, the culture of summer, winter projects, doing some kind of associations with within our projects of research, little research orientation. All of these things have taken a big leap, and you see the students very, very interested in that. Alongside this, I see a good trend towards their contribution in the social sector, because we are having lots of humanities, arts students. So, and this is also true for science students. The social sector contribution or working in that area is very much prevalent, as the think tanks or the civil society organizations are being looked to as playing a role in supporting government entities. So traditional colleges like ours, which have always had a craze for the public service examinations, that of course remains there. The selective examinations that they are, every third-year student, if you ask randomly, will say, I'm going to appear for the UPSC. That fashion still is there, but they know within the hearts of their heart that there are other paths to reach the same kind of impact through these kind of organizations, and they can make challenges addressed through such organizations. So I see that trend, and we've been discussing. And what also as I see is that many students have started taking interest in going into the interiors of the country and learning from the disadvantaged groups, including the tribal communities, because they feel that their answers to the complex questions of modern life, the answers rest in these communities. So that belief is also coming up, and they are ready to, as there is a lot of flexibility of timings, there's a lot of flexibility of venues, they get the support from their families, etc. And this is what we see is definitely the trend. So our sort of effort, or our motto then becomes that we must create an atmosphere which enables all of these kind of thoughts, and I think it's a really vibrant time. Needless to say that things which are the contemporary topics and are very, very much chased are the technologies, the green technology or the AI and ML and all. We definitely give them trainings for that also. In our own small and big ways, and the industry need is to have skilled people. So they want people to be ready, they want people to be already trained, and then only they get into it. So there is a lot of effort which is going on in building relationships and linkages with the larger employers, so that the industries are taken care of. So it's a mix of lots of things that are happening.
Professor Kaur briefly touched upon entrepreneurship, and that's a very trendy thing today. Everyone wants to be their own boss, but it's also a difficult thing. So, Professor Verma, if you could tell us, what are the sort of skills and guidance that a course in entrepreneurship should provide?
Thank you very much. In fact, to boast a little about my own college, we were the first undergraduate non-engineering college to get a grant from the government to start an incubation center. So we started an incubation center, and that was the vision of the Delhi government, to have incubation centers start in the educational institution. Under Section 8 company, we opened this. And we've already funded almost close to 56 lakhs for about 7-8 startups. And some of these startups are in the social sector as well, environment as well. You know, one of them is a libas one, which what they do is the leftovers of the textiles before, it's prepared, and after it is prepared, they recycle those and sell some products. And of course, they engage differently abled people also, and the women also. Then they also have many startups like this are there. So what do we do? One, thanks to the NEP that's been implemented, we have generic electives being offered to the students on entrepreneurship. So the students are encouraged to take it. And to be very honest, I know the choices need to be given to the students, but we offer them on the platter as part of the education. Second part of it is that, we offer them the internship. Now, our college is known for placements, but because of the incubation center, which is now part of our institution as well, the students now see another opportunity, which is what we are encouraging them through the curriculum, and also, giving them hands-on experience, that they work more towards becoming a part of job creators lineage, rather than, always seeking a job. Of course, we are known for best placements. For that, we train them differently. But as far as this is concerned, this is what we do. We encourage our alumni to come forward. And in fact, we call it as a CARE. So it is College of Business Studies Alumni Recruitment Excellence. This is the acronym for this activity, where we bring in the alumni. We have an interactive sessions with the students, and they either go for the placements or they go for some kind of startup ideas. So these are few of the things that we keep working with the students all through. Of course, as far as education is concerned, becomes part of the curriculum, part of the training. Then another good thing that we do is our students participate in international business case competitions, where they are competing with postgraduate institutions. It's the IIM, HEC Paris, Harvard Business Case Study Competition. Lately, we just had an HSBC Business Case Competition, where our college was the one which represented India, and we got a podium position. So, these providing a platform for the students to participate in these kind of a competition helps them. So these are few of the things that we keep doing for them.
Do you also teach them how to cope with failure? Because that's a big part of startup life.
Yes. When I said 56 lakhs was given, 7 or 8 of them, 5 of them actually failed. Failed for reasons which were very different for each of them. But then it is the resilience. It is, bouncing back is what is actually, inculcated in them. So we always tell them failures are, an opportunity to learn something. Yeah. So that is obviously a case.
Yeah. Professor Jojo, TIS has a very strong focus on social work. And I know you have a master's in social work for mental health, which I love. How do you prepare your students for field work and to deal with diversity, often people who are very marginalized or very misunderstood? How do you prepare them?
Yeah, thank you. You are right that we have 9 thematic specialization within the broad area of social work. And health and mental health is, in fact, one of the specialization we have. And since COVID period, we have seen the increasing number of students going through the mental stress. I think we have been struggling with us students coping with different kind of issues. But we also have very strong team of counselors in the university. 24 hours counselors available, as well as the medical doctors. Our whole structure of our curriculum is the praxis between the classroom and the field engagement, along with the research. And so from the first day, the day the students join, we start preparing them right from knowing about self, then about the society or the environment they are going to work or they are living in, and then some of the complex issues like poverty or inequality or gender disparity and so on and so forth. So there is a well-planned design of exposure from the self to the larger complex issues through what we call it group lab sessions to the fieldwork to internship. So throughout this 4 semester, there are different stages planned that how the students have to be exposed and prepare themselves that first of all they have to be good human being to face the different challenges and then deal with the different kind of complex issues in the society. So I think we have a well-planned curriculum, as well as whole idea is to prepare them as a good human being to live for themselves and then think of the societal issues.
You know, I'm just going to open it up to whoever wants to answer this, but with ChatGPT coming up, a lot of students feel that there are certain skills we no longer need to know. Is technology impacting their critical thinking skills? And if it is, and if it is lost, is that necessarily a bad thing?
All right, I'll take the first opportunity to speak up. Somebody said it's a necessary evil in the earlier one. Absolutely so. You cannot do without ChatGPT because not keeping a pace with what is happening in the technology front, one is going to be left behind. It's always the optimal utilization of the technology. And if the student or any one of us knows that technology should not drive us, but we should be driving the technology, I think everything can be used in a more optimal manner, which is going to be beneficial to the society. Regarding critical thinking, if ChatGPT is giving you a ready answer straight away when you're inputting and you get everything, the questions arise, in fact, in academia, because some of the research papers have also now been published where the co-authorship is given to the artificial learning and the machine. Is that right or wrong is a question. It is debatable, but it is important that if it is impeding the critical thinking, then that is the adverse side of this particular technology. Making our students aware when to use, how much to use, and in which spirit to use is more important. But asking them not to use it at all, I think that would be something like not being aware of technology and not adapting to new innovations, which may not be good from the student perspective.
Can I add? Yeah.
Yeah, carry on.
I feel, yeah, of course, ChatGPT and other such technology-driven things are here, and they cannot be ignored, and they, to that extent, you have to learn how to, be with it. But at the same time, as educators, as being in the classrooms, we have to be smarter. The teachers need to be, giving them that extra. And the work for the teachers has increased, should increase, to make themselves much, much more relevant. And that is from one person to another person. And the students inside the classroom should feel that, no, this is more from the classroom that they get rather than they're getting from the ChatGPTs or any other such information. And here then comes the role of hands-on skills, practicals, projects of such nature where it becomes necessary to have your own thinking. I think the mixture of these will make a lot of difference.
Professor Verma?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what Professor Srivastava just mentioned. You know, it's the teachers who have to be trained how to handle this situation, because doing away with ChatGPT, or for that matter, any kind of a technology, is not the answer. As rightfully said, it's a necessary, I won't call it evil, but it's helping us out. So, you know what, it's openly discussed in our, academic meetings, where we say it's the teachers who have to bring it out. Okay, I'm going to give you an assignment. This is from ChatGPT, the answer. Okay, now you built upon it, is what the challenge really comes for the teachers. So we need to accept it, embrace it, and how to make use of it, as rightfully said, optimal utilization. So we need to be one step ahead, and it has to be openly discussed in the academic meetings, where we encourage the teachers, please make use of it, okay? And how further to build upon is what the challenge lies with the academia.
Yeah. You know, most companies will invest in training new hires. You know, I have a friend who's in London right now. She's attending workshops and showing me all the pudding she's eating. But in order to be trained, she has to be trainable. So could each of you very quickly list 1 or 2 skills which you think are essential for any graduate to have, regardless of what career they go down?
Okay, very shortly. I think knowledge sets you cannot do away with, skill sets, mindsets, personality, adaptability, and always thinking about inclusive and sustainable development. So becoming what we say is a socially responsible global citizen.
I think, to add to these virtues, one should, learn to have how to work. Of course, communication skills should be good. There should be computer literacy for most of the students of today. To that extent, teamwork, they should learn how to be working in a team. And then, as in the past, panel discussions, there was individual and teamwork, individual for exams and teamwork for being with the team, and leadership, then that's how it comes up. But being literate in, especially in the media angle, media literacy, financial literacy, these are a few things which have become a must now to be called skilled and to be working further, in that.
Professor Jojo?
Yeah, I think the conventionally we see in our curriculum that it should have the component of knowledge, skill, and attitudinal aspect. I think in the today's context, I think knowledge skills we are very particular and we have been doing well. But how do we prepare the students socially sensitive, compassionate, and cultural competency? Probably, I think internationally, I think we are also seeing our international partners that how we can increase the cultural competence of the students. And then the skills of the day, like use of IT, communication, leadership, some of the skills which we require at the present day. I think that is the additional thing. But I think cultural competence, sensitivity, to be able to adapt to different realities, I think these are the most important and relevant things today.
Okay, I'm glad I'm the last one, because I'll have to say the least. Most of them have been already said. But I think the two more important from my perspective as well is, one is the attitude to learn. That has to be, that learning has to be lifelong learning. Resilience is bounce back from these failures. Global mindset is very important in today's time. But how do we achieve all this? And I always feel there are two things that we require to inculcate in the younger generation is discipline and sacrifice. Somewhere these two things are missing. And I always feel that if I'm following a particular discipline, I'm leading a disciplined life, I am sacrificing. These two values have to be inculcated in our younger generation.
That's beautiful. Some skills should never be lost because they give our lives meaning and direction. And other skills need to adapt to meet newer realities because you really can't stop generational change. When I was growing up, everyone said, oh, your generation. You don't know when to write yours truly and when to put yours sincerely. You watch people curse on a family TV. Well, now you can watch a whole lot more, and we sign off with HYETSG2G, which is hope you enjoyed the session, got to go.